My name is Flo and I am cycling across Africa, 13,000 kilometers from Cairo to Cape Town. Welcome back to Project Africa. Egypt is a beautiful yet difficult country to ride across, and it was the first of many challenging ones on our journey across the continent. You see, despite it being completely legal to cycle, the police try their very best to prevent you from doing so, and they do it by all means possible. It's frustrating and exhausting, but we are more committed to our goal than them, and 3 weeks after leaving Cairo, we have successfully cycled over 800 kilometers along the Nile Valley and have arrived in Aswan. That is Rob, Shahab, Tim, and I. The journey here was a hilarious and hectic adventure, and in this short amount of time we have lived and learned so much that I can barely assimilate. I did my best to share it all in my first videos of Project Africa, showcasing both the good and the bad sides of my experience. And very quickly, some of them made the news and actually led to an internal investigation by the Ministry of Tourism. Hopefully this can lead to positive changes in the behavior of the tourism police, because this would directly affect the future of cycling and the future of tourism in Egypt. But I guess only time will tell. In the meantime, I need to process everything that happened, find some peace of mind, give my body some rest, and edit all these videos. And there is no better place to do so in Egypt than Aswan, and more specifically in Hesa Camp, a traditional Nubian-style eco-lodge situated on an island right in the Aswan reservoir. The people running the hotel loved our project and kindly let us set up our tents on their grounds and spend some time here. It is an incredibly beautiful and serene location, the food is fresh and super delicious, and it's simply a great hotel in Aswan. We all felt at home and I highly recommend if you ever come here. The beauty of Aswan and the peace and quiet inspired me a lot, and I spent days working and editing the videos. I think this is the most beautiful place you're going to be uploading a video. Editing on the road is one of the hardest parts of Project Africa, with limited internet, and soon we'll have limited electricity. So I want to take a second to thank each and every one of you watching and subscribing. I love reading your comments and I'm so grateful for your support. And speaking of support, today I'm sending out my first batch of postcards from Africa. It's one of the perks you get if you support me on Patreon. So if you'd like to get one of these and help me bring these stories to life, please click the link in my description. I love sending postcards so much. How often do you get mail in the post nowadays? It's only emails and texts and WhatsApp. It's a beautiful stamp for stamp collectors. If you want a special one, just let me know and I'll get you pretty ones. So even when we're resting, we can't completely shut off, especially when we're in such a cool place. Aswan has a lot of famous and underrated places to see, and our curiosity and sense of adventure are unstoppable, so of course we had to go exploring. And today our means of transportation is a kayak. To be honest, after 3 weeks of cycling and using mostly my legs and back every day, it's nice to switch it up and only be using my arms to move forward. They're muscles that I haven't used in a while.
This is so cool. Such a nice way to explore. Just with the power of your hands. From the power of your legs to the power of your hands, eh?
It feels weird to be wearing shorts again. I left home in the winter, and Egypt being a conservative country, I've been wearing trousers to remain respectful. We paddled to a nearby island in the Aswan reservoir, and the fun thing about Egypt is that it is full of vestiges. It is so rich in history that we've barely uncovered it all, and especially anywhere close to the Nile, there are lots of ancient ruins, amphoras, or pottery to be found.
In every archaeological site we go to in Egypt, we find thousands and thousands of pottery pieces on the floor, lying there.
Drawing, like colors.
Oh yeah.
So this is like white and red. Others have like yellow, blue, and green.
And those you can't take, right? If you take them, you get imprisoned.
And that makes it particularly fun to explore the outdoors, as you'll never know what treasure or secret you might stumble upon.
We found a hole. Rob almost fell in here, and now we're trying to see if we can go inside.
Yeah, so I was about to fall like right here.
Oh, it's so bad.
I'm so intrigued. Good job, man.
We climb up to the top and find an incredible view over a nearby island, which is home to an ancient Egyptian temple. It is one of the main attractions of Aswan, so while we're here, we decide that we have to go and check it out. So the next day, we do exactly that. This is the incredible Philae Temple complex. It is one of the most fascinating and beautiful temples that I visited in my time in Egypt. The main reason being it is on an island of its own. We came here straight from the hotel by boat, and the whole history behind it is also incredible. In 1902, when they built the first dam, it was damaged by some water, but when they built the high dam a bit south from here, it was really threatened to be destroyed because it meant that the water levels were going to be rising a lot. And over a period of 8 years, the UNESCO team built a huge wall around it, sucked out the water, filled it with sand, and then cut up the entire temple complex brick by brick and placed it onto this island. And it's so fascinating the way that they did it. When we went hiking up there, on the island right next to it, you could see both the old location of the temple and the new island. And it's so cool to see how they did it. This is where the old Philae Temple was. And now they moved it here. Philae is a special place. It's Shahab's favorite temple, and I can easily see why. The walls of the temple are filled with intricate details, and interestingly, also has inscriptions left behind by people from other civilizations who came here through history. I also noticed a surprising amount of animals depicted. Perhaps they played an important role in ancient Egypt. I mean, they certainly still do today.
Everybody making pictures of the cat's hair. Most interesting about the temple.
I also visit the Philae Temple at night, and that is a memorable experience. Although the show itself is a bit cheesy, seeing the temple lit up like this makes me notice details I hadn't seen before. There is another temple famous for the great skill and effort put into its conservation. It's the Temple of Abu Simbel, which we will visit in 2 weeks just before entering Sudan. Just like Philae, it too was about to disappear under the Nile due to the construction of the dam, and it was moved brick by brick to a higher location. It's kind of saddening to see these sites. They're so detailed, so magnificent, and a reminder that many more probably lie somewhere underground or underwater, and we will never get to see them. Before completing our journey here in Egypt, we still have some time here in Aswan, and I try to make the most of it. It feels good to just have plain fun with friends. I get to wash my bike, and Shahab obviously showers me too. We build a fort in the living space to watch a movie. Shahab just used all the cushions in the hotel here. Wow, it actually looks so cool. And of course, indulge in a lot of sugarcane juice.
He started when you finished. Tim is drinking his sugarcane with a tire around him. That's a beautiful look.
Before parting ways with Shahab, we also get to celebrate his birthday together. Shahab has been wonderful, sharing so much excitement about life and his country. We learned a lot about Egypt through his eyes, whether it's about ancient Egyptian history or even daily life as a local, and we will all miss him very much. And sadly, we're not only saying goodbye to Shahab, but to Tim as well. Tim, who we randomly met at the Sudanese embassy, who spontaneously decided to join us with a legendary bike, who also brought lots of fun and laughter to the table.
I never think I laughed so much in my life in 1 month. To the point where your tummy hurts and you don't want to laugh, you just want to walk away.
Like, there's so many inside jokes that no one else will ever understand, like the toothbrush.
Oh yeah.
Or the goblet.
The goblins. Every time you will see like a police from now on, or a Jesus sign. Oh yeah. Like,
or the Jesus.
Yeah, like it's literally burnt in my mind. I cannot take it out.
His plan was to cycle to Sudan with us before continuing to hitchhike east, but it isn't possible anymore. How are you doing?
Physically, I am not okay. I got bitten by an insect and it has completely swollen up and it hurts like from here to here.
Somehow Tim got badly injured and it was too dangerous for him to continue in this state, so he decided to stay behind and recover. By the way, I'm using Go by AVA as travel insurance for this trip. Now, this is not a paid ad, but they are supporting me by providing me with insurance. Their team is friendly and responsive, and I recommend them if you're from any EU country and going on a trip in the future. For me, just knowing that I'm covered in case something like this happens to me gives me a lot of peace of mind. And while I'm sad that Tim won't be joining us on the next leg, Rob and I won't be cycling alone, as we meet another Tim in Aswan.
Nice to meet you.
He's also cycling across Africa at the moment, and we will catch up with him in a few days to cycle across northern Sudan together. So you'll see a lot more of him in the next episode. It is currently Friday, February 10th. My hair is kind of a mess because I just washed it. Today's our last night in Egypt. It's kind of bittersweet to leave. We're getting back on the road. I'm a bit nervous. I feel a bit unprepared. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm all packed up. My bike is ready. Things are charging, and I'm gonna just go to sleep, wake up tomorrow, leave Egypt. Alright, good night. Good morning, everybody. We're about to go on the ferry to cross the Nile, and then we have to cycle a couple dozen kilometers, and then we'll reach the border with Sudan. This is just crazy to me. Egypt is all we've known for 6 weeks, and now we're going into completely different territory. I have no idea what to expect. I'm very excited. He's bringing the most essential thing, bread. Wait, does this mean that there's no bread in Sudan? Rob,
Keep going.
I'm actually scared. Yeah, I have no idea what to expect, so I don't know, what are we gonna eat tonight? We don't know. Like, we don't know what Sudanese food is like. That's it. It's the end of a chapter and the start of a new one. A new country lies ahead, one which is so foreign to me and thus so intriguing. Left the ferry, now we cycle to Sudan. Yay! A dog runs after us for a few minutes. Maybe it's to say goodbye, or maybe it's to warn us about what's to come. We cycle towards the border, and the closer we get, the more intense the wind and the landscapes become. This feels very different to anything I've experienced so far. With a surprisingly powerful tailwind, we approach very quickly. We've just cycled 20 kilometers. We have 10 to 15 kilometers left to the border, and this means that we have officially cycled 1,000 kilometers. Final pedal strokes in Egypt. This is crazy! We're at the border. After a few hours at the border, we get our paperwork sorted and stamped out of the country. Bye-bye Egypt, hello Sudan.
Crossing into Sudan right now.
Crazy!
Let's do this.